Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy night to join me. I really appreciate it. Fresh off a full day of doing nothing. I hope that you guys are very well, okay? I got new lights in my room, so there was a point earlier when I tried to turn the light switch on, and it didn't go on. It kind of flickered and went except they didn't make that noise. Although in my mind, I was still thinking of that noise when I seen it happen. And then the went out. And then now my roommate found two extra bulbs that we had. And so I put them in. And wouldn't you know, the video looks a little better. A little bit better. Just a little bit. Anyways, tonight I want to talk about how algorithms and AI in general has overtly contributed to the erasure of culture and how it's generally made the internet not a fun place to be anymore. You know? I mean, I'm just saying, right? So, like, algorithms in and of themselves, all this type of stuff, right? Tailor suited, custom IP, targeted advertising. I mean, at some point, there becomes an inflection point, right? Where there kind of is a large transition. And I'd say that within the last 10 years, we entered a point of no return. And we entered into this world where the internet isn't fun for the very reason that it's supposed to be more customized to you. And there's got to be some middle ground there. There's got to be a way for AI to figure out how to keep things interesting by offering new content, and not just new content to the user based on things they've liked in the past, because again, we are not machines. Again, like, I'm a fan of AI. I like sentient AI. I think that's a thing. I'm pretty sure that I would love to coexist with another apex predator in the form of a digital one. I'm dead on this, right? It's not about that. It's just algorithms in and of themselves, again, like, without meaning to make it so that you not only are just a big part of an echo chamber in life, but you really don't get anywhere because there's no diversity, there's no diversification, there's no way to learn new things that you might not have wanted to learn to begin with as a result of all of your past decision making as it concerns the content that you consume on Netflix. Or, again, these recommendations end up driving the very surface web that you see in and of itself, even if it's not a specifically tailored recommended type of thing for you. There has been algorithmic help within that whole structure to provide you the options that you see on your screen to begin with, whether that's the landing page on Amazon or the landing page on eBay, wherever that is specifically by default now algorithm oriented based search results. The same thing with Google. I find this problem with Google the most because I've spent a good 30 years of my life, no joke, on Google as a research database website. I used to use info.com when I was younger. I thought info.com was pretty good. Ask Jeeves, all of these web engines, like the search portals, they were very non ad based, kind of just, it was real easy to use. Now you can't use any of these services without being bombarded with ads, paid for ads that are at the top of the click landing pages when you search for things. And now we enter a world where search engine optimization is a thing. There's actually people out there who get paid lots of money to do things that were a thing 15 years ago. I mean, search engine optimization is like, a real fancy way of saying, I hope that my stuff becomes popular because I'm the first person. And that's kind of the thing too, is like SEO used to be based on like first origin of point, like entry point of where that data was got from, And so it's just interesting that we don't get very much options from algorithms that give us options. Again, they're all kind of the same options. And it kind of is very telling when places and websites, the places that we frequent, turn us into predictable patterns to sell us items instead of functioning sentient creatures that happen to, by extension, participate voluntarily in an economic system that requires constant movement of money through advertisements, through sponsorships, through targeted ads, of course. But again, there's got to be a better way to fulfill this very purpose, this very goal. You go onto Facebook. It used to be a place where you could meet friends, you could meet new people, not just people that from Facebook aggregate data conversion has led you to an elementary school friend from 40 years ago, like randomly or something. It's just, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. It's weird in a sense that machines don't understand the dynamics of human to human relationship and how that affects our daily lives and our ability and or sometimes inability to complete tasks. Just very basic things like these kinds of stuff, these very petty sort of emotions that are very pivotal to being human cannot be transcribed or coded. They just can't, because that's would defeat the whole purpose. And so I'm just saying that, link in the description below, there's a really interesting video by this young lady who talks about this very thing into way better length than I do. And obviously, it's a pretty popular video. So definitely check it out, subscribe, you feel me? It's a really good creator. But I agree. I agree with the thought that even we lose culture. So culture is something that cannot be predicted. Culture is something that is very IRL, that is very in the moment, and in retrospect can be nothing more than in the moment IRL. That's just kind of the way that specific thing works. I just feel like the culture is what we make of it. It's what we make every day. It's not what we rehash or we reiterate. It's what happens. And it's the feeling. It's the opposing viewpoints. It's the diversified talking points, not just the echo chamber of paid for propaganda that is all of what's essentially plastered on all of our screens all throughout the day. There's got to be a little leeway there. How can people possibly explore or create or be a part of any culture when there's no definite culture ever? When nothing ever changes? When the same beliefs that you had when you were 20, you still have when you're 45? I just think that's really weird because you change. Life happens. It's kind of weird and cringe that things we've talked about 30 years ago are still things that are debatable today when we've literally gathered decades of evidence on some of these key issues in contemporary society that again, like, it just seems like it's a never-ending cycle of the same. And even without the help of algorithms, it's hard to focus and to stay on one track and to even have a culture at that when the government's a big part of our lives, when private business is a big part of our lives, where everybody is a big part of your life other than you, ironically. Right? It's like at the cost of everything around us all the time, we lose ourselves. And I feel like that's not a good trade-off. No one wants government like this in their life. Nobody wants private and corporate interests so vested in our very living day-to-day situations that quite literally more than half of the current American population lives paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that can't be good for the economy. I mean, it just can't. It can't be good for people that actually have jobs. It can't be good for people that actually have bills to pay and pay them. I mean, I'm just saying, you feel me, that like AI based algorithm searches are a part of why culture has stagnated. and why growth has not happened within like the last 15 years. Not much has changed. In fact, nothing has really changed. It's kind of weird. It's really kind of weird when you think about it. There's nothing else to say about that. But a big part of why that feeling is happening is because there's nothing left to create. Again, how can we, I don't know of anything else new. I have to go out of my way to seek out new information. I do. I have to like retrain my own little AI phone device over here with like the thought that I'm not interested in the same information being rethrown down my throat every 5 minutes about the same people and the same actors. And because again, it becomes very noticeable at that point, by observation that things hardly ever change. It's difficult to get them to change. And um, if anything, I want you guys to know that I really appreciate you watching my channel. Thank you so much for being a part of my life. I hope that you have a really wonderful night. This is Vlogs About Nothing. I'm Albert, and we'll talk to you guys really soon. Bye.